Hey, what's up guys, Rip here. So today we're going to be looking at the latest example of a long line of woke failures, and unfortunately, much like its predecessors, the game Relooted is off to a really bad start. You can see its announcement trailer released recently on Xbox's official YouTube channel. It's not getting a very good reception. Only 36,000 views despite the channel having nearly 6 million subs, and also it has 600 likes versus 4,500 dislikes. We have seen this play out a million times before, where a trailer like this is getting clowned on, it's getting dislike bombed, and then what happens? Well, the game flops. Despite people, mainly activists on social media, trying to prop it up, it just isn't enough. And with Relooted, this is an example of one of these quote-unquote woke games that actually looks like it has some appealing gameplay that some people definitely would enjoy, but it's being clouded by bad optics. This is another example of bad optics completely destroying the potential reach of this game. Instead of being something that's presented as an exciting new game, it's a laughingstock. And a lot of it has to do with the description of this game. A lot of people are clowning on it on social media. You can see the description here. Reclaim real African artifacts from Western museums in this African futurist heist game. Recruit crew members, plan escape routes, acquire the precious cargo, and then bounce out of the joint as fast as you can. And the joke that people are making on social media is that this game is supposed to be celebrating African heritage, and it's a game that's entirely focused on stealing. That is what they're saying. They're saying, oh, look, another game that's so progressive, it is once again regressive, and coming up with something that sounds racist on its face to many different people. But let's look at the gameplay itself, because I think it's actually, again, pretty appealing.
Okay. What's this all about?
Treaties were signed, promises made and broken. Is it stealing to take back what was stolen?
Stolen? Who is stealing them?
Us.
It's time to get out of there.
Let me introduce a friend of mine. Smart, agile, and will let you look into places with the tightest security.
Let's go!
Like I said, I'm sure there's a market for this somewhere out there, but the way the game is being packaged and the way it's being judged, and look, some people say, hey, it's not fair to judge this game, you don't know exactly what it's all about. Unfortunately, again, optics are everything. People have labeled this game as woke. They look at the character designs, they look at the sort of message being made here, and they're already dismissing it. And really, you ask yourself, what kind of audience is this for? What is the target audience? Because it doesn't seem like it's super clear to those making this. And also, do we expect Sweet Baby Inc. in the final credits? I'm saying it's like a 50-50 chance at this point. And on top of that, I think there's an important question for this game and its plot. Like, what are they going to do with the artifacts once they get them back? Like, what's the game plan there? Because I think it's pretty important if they're trying to prop up this message that has become very controversial already for this game. However, despite these questions and all of the ridicule on social media, a lot of journalists have been lining up to promote this game. You can see PC Gamer saying, Relooted is a heist game about reclaiming pieces of African heritage from Western collections. And you see two massive generalizations here that could be an issue. Western collections and African heritage. So in this game, it seems pretty clear that anything coming out of any African nation is under this African heritage label or African artifacts, whatever they use interchangeably. And it just seems odd to lump in every nation, all of their history and heritage under one umbrella, you know, given how things have transpired differently across different African nations. Like, you're comparing artifacts from Egypt to, let's say, the Congo. How's that going to play out? But you can see other journalists using some buzzwords saying rescue African artifacts from colonizers' museums in heist game Relooted. Of course, we're going to see colonizer used a lot to describe what's going on in this game. And also, can I ask a question? How do these people afford golden check marks? Like, who is this? with zero interaction as a games journalism outlet. And these things cost $1,000 a month to have. Like, how do they do it? Including even GameSpot. I don't even know how GameSpot does it, let alone a company like that. But here's their description. Relooted is like a reverse Indiana Jones. Ah, yes. Because everyone saw Indiana Jones as a concept and said, hey, you know what would be better than that? Just doing it in reverse, which has unintended consequences, I'm sure, for them, because if you're reversing everything going on in Indiana Jones, who's the bad guy then? I don't know if that really plays out too well. But of course, we have to ask ourselves, who is behind this game and what's their history? What do they have to bring to the table? Well, it's not a whole lot so far. And it's pointing all of the signals in the same direction as many different games like Concord or Dustborn that have failed with a similar sort of build-up like this game is having. So this game is being developed by Nyamakop, which is a South African-based company. And if you go to their main page, they haven't even updated their unannounced title yet. Like, they got a major feature from Xbox, and they still haven't gone back to their very simple webpage and updated the first thing you see. The first thing you see is our unannounced title. Like, update this, please. It's public news for like 2 days already. And then you see the second part of this, which is the only other thing you see on the main page of the website, Semblance. So they create a game called Semblance. Now, how did that game go? Does that give us any sort of faith towards Relooted? Not much, with 0 in-game players. Now, to be fair, this game came out in 2018. So to have 0, it's not too telling. It's just kind of a number you're seeing right now. So, make no mistake about it, this game is not active whatsoever, and it never was active. You look back at the overall history, and the peak player count was 63. They didn't have much success. I don't think that's mean. I don't think that's an exaggeration. They just did not have a stunning set of results for their first game, because again, Relooted is only their second game. Now, looking at this, it's very confusing, because they say, building on our success with Semblance, Nyamakop has grown to 30 people working on our next project, which we now know is, of course, Relooted. So they had a game that peaked at 63 players, currently has 0, and they decided to grow their team to 30 people, which is a pretty sizable team for a smaller studio like this. And again, just like every other woke failure in the past couple of years, what's the first thing they say about themselves? Well, of course, they say their games are made by a diverse and inclusive team. What does that do for me as the gamer? Right? Like, how does this appeal to me? Like, that's great. You have a diverse team. Does that make the game better? What is that going to do? How is that going to basically show itself in the game? And if you look at the diverse team, like, here they are. I don't think this is like the craziest thing anyone's ever seen, but they're riding hard on the diversity of their team, and that's what they're going for. Now, of course, this is where the majority of the mocking of this game comes from. Epic Games Store on their official account released the trailer with the headline sharing, of course, an African futurist heist game where you reclaim real African looted artifacts from Western museums. And you can see it has nearly 6 million views, 13,000 likes, but over 5,500 comments. That's not good. That is not a good ratio. When you have like a moderate number of likes and a substantial number of comments and quotes, you're getting made fun of. And if you look at some of the comments, you see this over and over and over again. This one with 48,000 likes saying, make black people game. It's about stealing. Oh my God, LMAO. Like I said, people can be offended by that, but this is the comment we're seeing over and over again. It's the optics. This is the first impression people are getting, and they think it's a super progressive game that's so progressive, it's now regressive. You can see this comment. I described this game to a normal person. They thought I was setting up a minutes-long Norm Macdonald-esque racial bit. Here's another one saying, Ironheart and Relooted, made with DEI money by woke leftists. Both are about stealing things, and the caption is anti-racist getting ready to say the most racist stuff you've ever heard. And that made me kind of forget, oh man, Ironheart, right? Similar concept, like she has the genius, but she has to steal all of the parts and the technology to make her Iron Man 2.0 suits, right? And this is getting clowned on relentlessly, and there's only about 2.5 weeks until this premieres. Disney, they try to bury this one, but it's time to pay the piper. They're going to have to let this one roll, and how well this performs, we're just going to have to wait and see, but things aren't looking so great as of yet. Here's another one saying, and it falls to one man to stop them. I mean, this one getting 18,000 likes, and honestly, if this is the final boss or the main antagonist of the series, it just got a little more interesting, okay? Here's another one from Heel versus Babyface, just saying ha 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 ha, and this comment killed me. It was the first one I saw. I mean, you guys did loot it. Did he loot it? Who's we? Who's they? What is going on? That is the issue here. We're dealing with a very complex and nuanced set of topics here, and we're trusting the average Twitter user to digest this while trying to also prop up this game, and it's turning into animosity really quickly in some regards. But anyways, Critical Drinker here saying, I wonder if the game will explore why they were preserved in museums in the first place. Nope. I could tell you, nope. I don't think they're going to focus too much on that. That might not go well. Again, it's a nuanced topic. It's not as simple as Twitter or these activists will try to convince you that it is. They're just like, oh yeah, those things were stolen. They have the right to get it back. It's not exactly that simple. But then again, we're trying to explore it through Relooted. And it's become already the centerpiece of a culture war, a centerpiece of activists versus your regular gamers. And it's going to be a very ugly time. And unfortunately, it always comes back negatively on the game itself. You don't really want to be in the center of this sort of stuff when you're an average indie game. It never bodes well for them. It's just a lot of attention from people who probably aren't going to buy the game despite their support on social media. And that is exactly what's happening on Blue Sky. Completely different worlds. Okay, Twitter, and I say, like, there's activists on Twitter and they're trying to prop up the game too, but there's been a largely negative reaction on Twitter. But Blue Sky, which is the Twitter freak refugee location, they love it. This is like unanimously praised, although there's not much praise because there's not much activity on Blue Sky, but you can see the quotes on the official account sharing it. Can't wait to play this. The game we've been quietly working on for years has been announced. Okay, but this is all of the things I'm interested into rolled into one thing, a video game about decolonizing museums, science fiction, African futurism, will play. Obviously excitement here as well. You have my curiosity. And this is like the perfect encapsulation of everything going on Blue Sky. This game is awesome because it feels deliberately crafted to anger a specific type of gamer. I will probably get this. History tells us you're not. But this part right here, where they are saying this game was deliberately crafted to anger a specific type of gamer, probably the average gamer. But the thing is, I don't think the developers of this game made this out of spite to anger anyone. I just think its optics are being perceived in a very harsh way. And they should have been a little bit more precautious of that. But people like this are cementing it. These supporters are the potential supporters of this game. They are cementing the us versus them mentality of this entire thing, claiming on their behalf it was deliberately crafted to anger gamers at large. And I don't know how this is going to help anyone involved with this project. We all know it's not going to, and it's going to bring just some more us versus them energy, where the one side typically doesn't buy anything they support on social media anyways. So yeah, that is Relooted for now. We will see where this goes. Will it be saved from the the bowels of social media that is playing tug of war with this right now, I don't really know. Doesn't look good based on the history of games like this that have gone through the similar process. It almost never ends well. I can't even really think of an example of a time where it did end well for the game that is being labeled as woke with very little support to begin with like this. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comments section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.